Hello, good evening. Have your attention, please. Thanks everybody for coming. This is our first meeting of the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada Hamilton Centre for 2025. So, and our, sorry, I forgot, yeah. You can't hear us. This is our first meeting at our new location as well here. So if you're new to joining our meetings, this is a new location for us tonight. We've previously been hosting our meetings in Waterdown, so this is new being in Burlington. But hopefully everybody was able to find the location okay and could find parking. We'll have to iron out a few kinks as we go, but I think our new location will be great for everybody. And so thanks everybody for attending tonight. Tonight we have a guest speaker joining us, and I'm going to let Ed Measy do the introduction. But just to give you an idea, we will do our guest speaker presentation. We've got a few demos of some of the equipment that she's going to be speaking about. And then we'll take a short break after that, and then we'll do some housekeeping at the end. Before we go further though, just to let you know, we do have a 50-50 draw going on tonight. So if you haven't bought your tickets yet already, you can get those from Aaron at the table at the front. We do have a new feature as of this month. You can now tap your debit card to donate. So if you don't have any cash with you, you can use the tap feature. Credit. Okay, credit. So, but it is an enhancement. It's a new feature that we're offering. So please see Aaron and Tracy at the front if you want to get your 50-50 tickets. So if I can just get a thumbs up from Victor online, because I can see you. Can you thumbs up that you can hear us okay before we start? Okay, thank you. Just checking. Okay, so I will turn it over to Ed now to do our introduction for our guest speaker.
Thank you, Jean. Good evening. You've heard my name already. Thanks a lot. I've got some fans. Anyway, before I introduce Swapna, I want to thank Ken Muscola, who's up here, and Pierre Tanguay, who's also up at the front here, for coming out to support this talk by being available afterwards to answer questions alongside Swapna. Ken and Pierre also own Seestar, and we'll show you some of their images. So we've got lots of support here, so I'm looking forward to that. Swapna and I first met approximately 7 years ago, although today is the first time we have met in person. She was keen to get more involved in astronomy and wanted to know more about RASC at the time. Since then, Swapna has become one of the most active members of the Mississauga Centre. Swapna is a councillor for her centre. She invites speakers and coordinates members' talks on a monthly basis. She also actively participates in outreach events. Swapna's love for space and astronomy began at an early age, inspired by her father, a space scientist. Her passion was further solidified during Halley's Comet's last visit in the 1980s and a memorable trip to an observatory in India. Professionally, Swapna is the founder of an artificial intelligence startup called Lean Astro. The name reflects her dual passions for streamlining processes and astronomy. Lean Astro provides AI education and business advisory services aimed at improving productivity and efficiency using AI. Swapna is a seasoned business transformation leader and a master Lean Six Sigma black belt with over 20 years of experience in process re-engineering, digital transformation, and customer-centric consulting in diverse industries, including aerospace. She holds a Master of Engineering degree from McGill University, an MBA from the Schulich School of Business, and certifications in generative AI and AI for Business from Cornell University and Wharton Online. A lifelong learner, she is currently pursuing additional AI certifications in healthcare from Harvard Medical School. Above all, Swapna is a proud mother of 2 daughters. In this talk, Swapna Shrivastava will introduce the Seestar S50 that you can see up here, and there's another one there and another one over there, a budget-friendly smart telescope. She will share her experiences with the telescope and showcase images captured from her backyard, located in Bortle 8 Skies, which a lot of us can attest to. Attendees will also have the opportunity to see the Seestar S50 up close and ask questions. Swapna recently presented this talk at York University to support their fundraising. Without further ado, please welcome Swapna.
Thank you, Ed, and thank you, Jane, for having me, and thank you for the lovely presentation. Are you able to hear me on Zoom? All right? Okay, perfect. All right, so I'll stay here. So again, thank you all for letting me be here, especially this is your first meeting of 2025, so it's all my privilege to be here. RASC Hamilton holds a special place in my heart, even though I'm not a member, as Ed said. I actually found RASC by accident after my husband and I, husband's in the audience, we got back from Hawaii on a trip. And I was doing an internet search in 2018 and found the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada. I happened to find your center, specifically because of your great observatory that you have. And Ed and I started talking. Given where we live in Oakville, Mississauga made a little bit more sense for me and my family to be members of that center. We haven't looked back since. So I want to give a little bit of a background before I get into it. It'll set the stage of how and why we're talking about smart telescopes today. So in 2018, once I became the member of the Mississauga Center, as most new members, even though I had been passionate about astronomy and astrophysics and such, from an early age, really got into typically how a new astronomer starts, an amateur, a binoculars, and then on went to a Newtonian telescope. I took, as you may know, we have in the RASC, we have different certificates. We have explored the moon, explored the universe. So I did those certificates using a Newtonian telescope. It's a beautiful Vixen. I still have it. It's one of my favorite telescopes. Unfortunately, it doesn't see any light anymore after this guy came along. And then, binoculars as well. After a couple of years of doing that and learning the sky and the craters, living in Oakville, at the time it was bortle 7, by the way, it's bortle 8 now. I checked, it's probably getting to bortle 9 pretty soon if it's not already reached there. I checked, I think, I don't know, last month. Moved on to a go-to telescope. So I got after much search and talking to Ed and other folks, got a Maxitoff category. And that's a beautiful telescope. And then I got an AZ GTI, which I know Ed and I spoke at length about. And that helped with the go-to. And I got the best planetary images, Saturn, moon. Moon was just gorgeous. It was like flying over the moon. If anybody has one of those Maxitoff categories from Skywatcher, it's just absolutely beautiful. What I was finding is that as a visual observer, I couldn't see color in deep sky objects. And that's where my passion lay. I looked at all these photographs. You all, there's a lot of astrophotographers in this group, I know, and even for my center and others. And I'm like, how can I get there? So then, I got a red cap. So that was my third one. Got a red cap, got the gear, got the DSLR, and Ed gave me a lot of lessons how to use a camera. Well, I was not a good student. I failed miserably. Even he was a great teacher. I was not a good student. I tried different things and I just couldn't get there. That brings us to January 2024. So about a year ago, my frustrations were ramping. The other thing is that as a working mom, I have very little time to go out, can't get to enough, being downtown Toronto and COVID and all of those nice things. It just felt like I didn't have enough time to just get out and, spend the night observing, which I wanted to. My husband, Stephen, who's in the audience here, was just observing this whole evolution of my frustration. In April of 2024, he surprised me with a telescope. He brought out the Seestar. So that's how I came across the Seestar. I had never heard of smart telescopes up to this point. By the way, I had done a stint also trying to learn Photoshop, pics inside. So I've done the gamut and I couldn't get any of it. So, and when he opened the box, I'm like, what is this? I don't understand. What is this, right? So then I started researching. So in a couple of days, I had this thing out and I was already photographing the sun. First try, first attempt. And none of my other 3 telescopes, the entire gear I have, my DSLR, they're all sitting in a closet somewhere. And, at some point, perhaps I'll get there again, but I want to set the stage as to how we got to this presentation today. So it's been about 8 months and I've had such a lot of fun. I want to just share my experiences with you. And then I'll also demo this little guy, at the end with Pierre and Ken. But I also have a little small surprise demo, which we'll wait till the end, and I'll show you the surprise demo right at the end as well. So there's a few demos coming. Okay, so we're back to this talk. All right. Okay. Okay, so back in January 2024, when I sat back and I said, okay, what are my requirements as a user? Given the digital transformation background that I have, what do I need? So I said, okay, well, I need something that's easy to use, like I said, easy setup, very little time, easy and light, portable, all of those things, right? So those are my requirements. So at the end of the day, and again, I don't want to Photoshop anything. I don't want to pix inside anything. What I want to do is do a visual observing and just see things in color, specifically deep sky objects. So those are my requirements. So with that, like I said, when my husband Stephen got me this telescope, I started looking into what these are. Smart telescopes are not new. They've been around for the last few years. I think the first one I could at least research was back in 2018. So it's the white telescope there, the Vespera. So there's quite a few out there with a lot of different price points. What they have in common are they have a lot of smart features like go-to, they do their own stacking. So, how we use Deep Sky Stacker for most traditional photography. These guys do it themselves. They also have an app. They typically use an app. And they have also the dew heaters on them as well, typically. If you're interested in any of them, it depends on how much you want to spend. I'm sure the ones that are very expensive that are listed up here on the slide here are probably much better and probably give you a lot more in terms of the end result. Based on our family's budget and requirements, the Seestar met the criteria. So as of this morning, it was retailing for $725 this morning. It is about $50 more than what we had paid for last year, so it's not a huge jump, but that's kind of what we're looking at. And I think during Black Friday, it was a little bit cheaper than, I think it was about $650 or something like that. But I know this talk may be shared, but there are a couple of links here in case you're interested in taking a look at them. Let's get into the ZWS Seestar S50. And again, this is my experience. Your experiences might be different. I know Ken and Pierre are going to share their experiences as well, I think. But at the end of the day, let's start with what's included. There's a lot that is included. So it's got a solar filter here. It's got a solar filter, which I know some of even the most expensive ones you have to pay an extra for. But built in is a ZWO camera in it. It's also got a triplet APO lens on it as well. What it also has is the F5 250. So it's very similar to the Red Cat, which is the F5 250. In terms of, it's got a Wi-Fi built in, and once we demo it, I'll show you how that works. It's got 3 built-in filters, which is what's the magic in the secret sauce. That is the secret sauce for being able to really photograph deep sky objects from our backyards. It's because of those filters that we have. So at the end of the day, these things I think cost a lot of money. I know I remember spending on one filter 5 years ago was $175 or something like that. Maybe they're more now, I'm not sure. The weight is a requirement. It's only 2.5 kilos. So, and it's super easy to set up and tear down. It's basically just these 2 pieces, which is your tripod and your top over here. But that's about it. And make sure you're charged up too, of course. So I'll get into that in a second. I'll show you my workflow as well. So those are in a nutshell, the specs. What comes out of it? So what comes out of it are JPEGs. JPEGs are what you will see today in my presentation. They are not processed. Like I said, I'm not a good student of Photoshop or PixInsight. If you are a good student of Photoshop and PixInsight, you do get the raw images. You get the raw images that you can then process on your own. And you can, and these are things that you can do. And I know a lot of people do use that as well. Video is another cool feature, especially when you're doing solar system. You know, I photographed the sun, and there's a video that you could do, and you can also, there's zoom features as well. So you can get pretty up close, and I'll show you a couple pictures on that as well. So that's really, you know, it's quite a lot of features for $725 if you think about it. And so, yeah, from that perspective, what we should also think about the telescope, what it doesn't have, because this is not for everybody. This is for me, it works for me, but it may not work for everybody. It doesn't have an eyepiece anywhere. So even the red cat, you can actually get an eyepiece to put on the red cat. This one you cannot. So if the eyepiece is something that's important to you, you just need a second telescope or something else. It doesn't have an EQ mount. It's an alt-az mount. What does that mean? Why do we care? Well, we get field rotation. So, and again, your pictures are short durations. 10 to 30 seconds is all, each frame is only 10 to 30 seconds. But what it does is it stacks the pictures. So if you're taking 30 minutes of data, right? It's basically probably run for 45 minutes. So it's basically done the stacking and removing all the noise from the pictures, or as much as it can. And then, but it's also discarded a whole bunch of images it took. So that's why if a 30-minute is likely you've probably run for 45 minutes, but every one of them is 10 to 30 seconds. I personally have only done 10-second stackings. I should get it to the 20 and 30, and maybe that's an objective for, I was learning the telescope, even though it's very simple. I just want to learn the telescope and have fun with it, really, after months of frustration with the other stuff. So that's one thing it does do. Planetary observation, this is not your guy. It really isn't. It's great for deep sky. And this is a very personal opinion. I had tried Jupiter and Saturn, and remember, I've seen them from maximum great telescopes. I've seen them from binoculars. I've seen them from the Vixen. It doesn't compare. So it's great. You can see something. You can see the moons. You can see the rain, but you can't, like, that resolution isn't there. But again, maybe over time, maybe the software will get updated, or maybe there's other people in the group. Maybe they have had more luck than me. Portrait mode only. So what I mean by that is that, you know, typically a picture will be horizontal, but everything in the app is actually portrait. So you'll see me flipping my iPad. Yeah, you know, it's sitting right here. For those who are not here, it's just sitting like a computer, but then I have to flip it over if I want to see something. But as pictures are coming live, they are horizontal. But when you get the final picture, it's in portrait mode. So imagine that you're sitting and looking at your computer, you can see it, no problem. But when the final image comes out, it rotates and becomes a portrait mode. So I have to manually flip it back into becoming the portrait mode. Features I haven't tried yet, and they've just been released. There's lots of software updates. They're fairly regular. Even this morning, it went through a firmware update, which is fantastic. So I was getting ready for it to come today, and I went through a firmware update. They have introduced something called the mosaic mode or the framing mode. So what it does is, you'll see this picture that I have. It's got a white, you know, it's got an object behind it. It's got a blue square or rectangle around it. The blue rectangle is the field of view of the sensor. The sensor cannot see anything past the blue, which then, if you're looking at large objects, Deep Whale Nebula is a great example of that. I cannot get that into one frame. It basically, the framing or the mosaic mode is supposed to help with solving for, you know, limited view. So what it does, it scans the entire object, and then it brings it into view, and it does the mosaic for you instead of you having to go into a third-party software. I haven't tried it. I've heard good things about it, but that's something that I will try in the next couple of months. That just came out recently. And then, like I said, the exposures of 20 and 30 seconds would be some considerations. Like I said, not for everybody. The other thing is, these photos, I remember for visual observers and stuff, but it does not replace the great work the astrophotographers do. There's no replacement for the great work that you all do and the great results that you all get with the traditional way. It just does not replace that. So I just wanted to put it out there. So it's got its pros and then it's got its cons. Okay, so I've covered quite a bit of this, but at the end of the day, for me, what I really like is that it's great for the moon. I can compare this to the Maxitoff Cassegrain, and again, I can get some pretty good shots in there, so that's really good. Bright comets, so there was a comet that came out recently, the 8th, so I got that. I'll show it to you as well. Northern Lights is something, we've had a couple of those bright ones come recently. I tried and brought it out. It saw right through the Northern Lights. I'm like, oh, okay. But the iPhone was great. It just took photos. So at least I have other equipment to kind of compensate for things it can't do. Great for globular clusters, galaxies, and nebulas. It shines in that space. And we'll go through that as well. And then it just requires some minor adjustments. Again, it all depends on your point of view, what you think is a good quality photo. Everybody has a different, mindset in terms of where it goes. So that's kind of my experience. I started using it on 1st of May, and I wanted to go through my workflow a little bit. So I do have a power tank. You do need to charge this. It has a little, and you'll see this in the demo, it's got a little Type-C. It's got a little cable, but you do need a power bank. I just happen to have a power bank at home from just all the equipment I bought previously, but you do need something to power this guy. It doesn't attach to the wall. And then from there, I use the iPad. You may also use an Android device, so you can use your phones. You can also use, the app doesn't work with the computer as far as I know, because I was looking into it for my center because we were thinking about buying it, and it doesn't look like there's an app for a computer. There is, however, an app for Apple and an app for the Android devices. If I'm wrong in any of that, please correct me afterward. It's great. The app, I'll show it to you as well. So what I do is I typically make sure that the Seestar is powered up. I basically decide, okay, I'm going to go out and I'm going to take a look at whatever. I've got 2 hours this evening, 1 hour this evening, whatever it is. It's usually set up like this in my dining room. I just take it outside in the backyard, put it there. I'm like, okay, where do I want to go? What's visible in the sky? And I hit go to. And it's doing the work outside. I'm inside keeping warm, no bugs, no cold, no winter coats, no gloves, nothing. I'm sitting in there doing my own thing. Of course, I'm keeping an eye on the prize, what I'm getting out here. And I'm just sitting and enjoy it. This is exactly what I want as a visual observer. Be able to sit, be comfortable, be light, be quick, and then get color pictures at the end of it. So, that's kind of where I go. One thing I do is I have the Apple device, as I mentioned. I do some corrections using the Apple native features. So will do some native corrections. So I'll just, make sure that some of the light, the saturation, etc., are corrected for. But outside of that, there's nothing more than that. So the pictures you're going to see, they are not 100%. I'm not entering them in any photographic contest or anything like that, but it's good enough for me. So let's start our journey. We'll go into solar system first, and then we'll get into deep sky. Okay, so that's the sun. Like I said, I've never done the solar system before. And first time I took it out, I put the solar filter on. I said, hit go to the sun. It did take a couple of minutes to find it. Today I tried it again with the sun was really out today, and it was much better. I have to say it's starting to know where I am. You have to calibrate it a little bit. You do have to do some calibration and make sure your tripod is all adjusted up. So that's something you have to do. If you have your calibration set and that's very easy. Again, I can show that to you. And you've got your tripod's balanced, then it does a good job. If not, it will struggle. But that's any telescope. Randy Atwood from my center, he's our president, or was our president at the time. Many of you may know his name. He sent out an email saying there's some sunspots out there. Take a look. So I went and I started photographing on 7th of May, and you'll see the sunspots there. And then I'm like, am I really seeing what I'm seeing? I remember this is my first time looking at all of this, and did an internet search, compared what I was seeing on the internet to what I was seeing, and you can see there's a comparison right there between the two photographs. I guess this will be to your very right. was what I was seeing on the internet as the sunspots that were visible, and what I was seeing through my telescope was right in the middle. I'm like, okay, this is real. This is good. I'm glad. What I didn't know at the time, AR 3664, if anybody remembers, does anybody remember what happened in May?
Yes, big aurora.
A big aurora. These are the guys that caused it. So, we didn't know in the morning or afternoon this was going to happen, but these are the guys that caused the aurora in May. So that's why I wanted to share this picture with you, because I think it was fascinating. Anybody else see the picture? Anybody seen sunspots? Yeah, you did, yeah.
Same picture that you have on my, very similar.
Similar one, yeah. There you go.
I took the same picture about 4 hours before the aurora.
Oh, they were fascinating. And you could actually see them even with your solar eclipse glasses too. Yeah, a lot of people saw them just with the solar eclipse glasses, and so that was really cool. The moon. One of my favorite features, some of my favorite features are here. So remember, I'm comparing this guy to my Maxitov, Kazakh grain, right? So during the Explore the Moon certificate, I kind of said, okay, what are my few favorite objects on the moon? So the Archimedes crater, the Apennine Mountain, of course, they're named after the mountains in Italy. The Mare Tranquility, of course, where the Apollo 11 landed. So those are some of my favorite objects on the moon. And the fact that I could see them sitting in the comfort of my home and can see them anytime as long as it's not cloudy is absolutely awesome. So here we are. I wanted to show some pictures to you, of what we can see. You'll notice some of these pictures look zoomed in, some of them look zoomed out, but I've not done anything. It's the telescope. Remember I said it had the zoom. So 1x, 2x, and a 4x zoom for solar system only. So that's where you can actually zoom in and out of your, and you can also do the videos. So the video is also an option when you're doing this. I just don't have the video. I have taken videos. I just don't have it on the presentation today. Anybody seen the moon through the Seestars? Yeah.
Beautiful.
Right?
Yeah.
Think it's gorgeous, right? Yeah.
Especially near the Terminator.
Right? It's so gorgeous. It's so beautiful, right? Yeah.
And if the clouds are going by, left, right, center, you can just grab it so quickly.
Yeah.
Straight back in, sure.
And it points and you just click and it's done, right? So it's beautiful. Yeah. Okay, here's the comet. So comet A3, this is not my picture. This is actually fellow RASC-Mississauga Center member. Her name is Michelle. She actually, once she saw my presentation, she actually went and bought herself one of these guys. And so now when we go to outreach together, we compare notes. And she was able to get the comet and I wasn't. So there was a bit of competition, friendly competition going on there. I'm like, I give in, I will use your photo in my presentation. So here it is. So it's only 1 minute. It's not processed. It is what it is, what you see over here. You can see the beautiful tail. You can see the beautiful head of the comet. And again, she was thrilled that I was using her picture for today's presentation. So thank you, Michelle. Yeah, so this is great. We were at University of Toronto Mississauga Center doing our outreach for the students and teachers there. And the comet was visible. And they were able to see live. That's the other thing that we do is we take when we go for our outreach programs, we'll bring our telescopes. So now some of us who have smart telescopes will bring our iPads and we just do live pictures for the folks that are attending these public outreach. And there's a lot of questions. I'll kind of come back to that as we go through the presentation, but there's a lot of questioning that's going on. Is this real? Is this live? which I can see. Okay, let's go to deep sky. So as I got the M3, by the way, I had never seen an M3 despite all my other equipment that I have at home until this telescope. And M3, of course, was the first Messier object that Charles Messier discovered in the 1700s. It's the first Messier catalog. And as you know, globular clusters, they're tightly bound stars, millions of them, 150 orbiting the Milky Way. And they're absolutely awesome to look at. These were shown at the public outreach, and this is one of the things that a lot of kids especially go, what is that? And it's great to be able to talk to them and kind of explain, and just talk to them about the stars and how the kind of gravitational works. So this is about 34,000 light years away. I'm sure a lot of you know that. It's only 7 minutes of data. So 7 minutes, I probably had it for about 13 minutes outside or 15 minutes outside. I get bored quickly, so I kind of, in my 1 hour, I'm trying to go to multiple things. It's only 7 minutes of data. There is a lot of noise in the picture. I agree. You'll see a circle there. You'll see a circle there. That's not me. It's the telescope. There is a feature on the telescope where you can say mark your target. And you mark your target, it tells you. So you'll see a couple of circles coming up on the picture. And the second target on the very top to your right, 5263, NGC 5263. That is not me looking for it. That is a telescope telling me there's a second object in your picture. So that is kind of the advantage when you're looking through the telescope or looking through your iPad through the telescope, and you don't know what else is out there. It will tell you. So it's a neat way of kind of saying, hey, what else is out there? Am I interested in going in there or not? So that's a feature. You don't have to keep that target around. For most pictures, I just take that off. It's just more to kind of just double check I'm seeing the right thing. 34,000 light years, not bad for 7 minutes of data, right? M13, of course, this is one of the ones I have seen as a blob, a white blob through my telescopes. 11 minutes of data, it's a magnitude about 6, it's about 25,000 light years away. It's, of course, it's a great summer globular cluster to look at. Okay, are we still hearing me okay in the Zoom call? Yeah, perfect, thank you. Okay, deep sky planetary nebula. So these are M57, the ring nebula, and the M27 dumb nebula. Anybody seen these guys? Yeah, some of you. Well, I have to say I had never seen M27 prior to this telescope. And this, by the way, all from Oakville, all from my backyard, right? I haven't gone to any deep sky spaces or anything like that. M57, the ring nebula, I have seen it through my red cat, but it continues to amaze me. It's one of my favorite objects in the sky. It's a Lyra constellation, only 7 minutes of data, 2,000 light years away. And for those in the audience who may be wondering what a planetary nebula is, it's a dying star. Star similar to our size, it's shedding its light matter, and as the radiation goes through the different gases, when the radiation and the gases interact, it produces different color, red for hydrogen, blue for oxygen. So this is one of the pictures that people didn't believe in outreach at Riverwood or at UTM, that this, like, how are the colors there? Like, there was so many questions, and it's good because the whole point of public outreach is to pique curiosity, is to pique that interest. So there was a lot of questions, but great questions. And, we are certainly put on our toes with some of these questions that come out, but it's absolutely amazing to see these guys. M27 dumbbell nebula, 7.5 magnitudes, a fairly dim. From Oakville, I can do about up to 8 or so. Is probably my limit. I've pushed it to 10 sometimes. I think I got a 60 million year away galaxy, about magnitude 10. Took a long time to get that data though. I didn't bring it here because it really was underwhelming. so I didn't show it here, but yeah, about magnitude 8 is, at least in the dark skies, is all I can get. 10 minutes of data. That's all this is. And again, it's probably out for a lot longer than that. 1,200 light years away. So this is really, really cool in my mind too. This one was a lot more longer. This is the M33 triangular nebula. It's one of our neighboring galaxies, as you know. It's Andromeda is nearby. M33 is nearby as well. 3 million light years away. It's 7.5 minutes. This was more recent, and I was getting more patient with the telescope because, of course, Michelle and she goes, you need to keep your telescope out for longer. I said, okay, let's do that. So I had it out for about an hour and a half to get about 55 minutes of data. Why that? What are the things that make it discard? So clouds, shooting stars, you have your, the satellites going by, airplanes going by, everything under the sun. So I don't think this picture has it. There are some that actually have the streak, and you can see the streak in the first picture. I'm like, I'm going to be sitting here for 45 minutes for it to try to take out that. So the point is, it starts taking those pictures out. It starts trying to make sure that the streaks are coming out of the picture. So it takes some time, and hence the discarding happens. Also, if it's not balanced properly and you're getting a lot of discards, that's your cue to go out and balance the telescope. So those are a couple of reasons why it might be discarding it. The picture on the bottom, which says courtesy NASA, I'm always, especially because this is the first time I've seen M33, I always try to go out and do some research on the object, learn about the object, make sure I'm seeing what I'm seeing. So the NASA picture was really my way of comparing the two pictures together. So you can see that at least the structure-wise, they're not that different. Deep Sky Nebula. So let's get into the nebulas. Gorgeous Trifid Nebula, M20 in the Sagittarius constellation, magnitude 6, 9,000 light years from Earth. It's, of course, a stellar nursery. It's an emission nebula. And I love the dark lanes that come out of this nebula and that structure. Again, things that I could not see before, I'm able to see now. I have seen this through binoculars through the backyard a while back. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. Eagle Nebula, I have a story on this one too. So this is M16, of course, 16 minutes of data, only 6,000 light years from Earth. I was sitting and watching this come live on my iPad, and I started seeing the structure that is circled. There's two structures that are circled in the picture, the bigger circle. And I'm like, that looks really familiar. What is that? So when looking on the internet, turned out that was of course, the pillars of creation that Hubble had taken, years ago, and the very famous one. I fell out of my chair. I'm like, I can't believe this. I can't believe I'm seeing this from my kitchen, from my backyard. So that was kind of cool. So that is actually if you look at the wings, the little wings there, the little, I don't know if you can see that, but you can see those wings, but that is the pillars of creation. And of course, you got the stellar spire visible as well. Anybody see this Eagle Nebula? Yeah. It's pretty fun to see it, right? Yeah. And again, for the astrophotographers there, you've seen it all. So this was a very recent picture and one of my last pictures for the S-50 that I want to show. This one here is the M42, and of course the M41 and 43 are visible too. It's only 15 minutes of data. It's very, very, very quick. Like within, as I put this thing out, 30 seconds later, I had an image. Unlike some of the other ones, you kind of have to wait because it's just so bright, right? The Orion Nebula is so bright. And then you've got, of course, it's constellation Orion. It's only magnitude 4, so it doesn't struggle with that kind of magnitude. So if you're also trying to find stars, by the way, I don't have a star picture, like Betelgeuse, something like that. They're quite cool to see. Big blob of light that comes out of that. You see the Betelgeuse, it's quite bright in your vision. Horsehead. So I was able to get Horsehead, and this was only 8 minutes of data. Why only 8 minutes of data? Clouds started moving in. So I'm like, okay, I gotta stop it and then bring it in. So this was the most recent pictures. I don't know if you can see the head on it. But again, I'm sure a lot of folks have seen this. One of the popular ones, from what I understand, one of the more difficult ones. It's a dark emission nebula. One of the more difficult ones to capture. So again, for me, this really works, things I haven't seen before. So that was the pictures. I want to next go, I'm going to switch gears a bit, and I'm going to go into the next evolution of Seestar. So S30, and I know you've went on order. Seestar S30 is been announced. It's in pre-sale right now. Anybody order that, or anybody getting it for Christmas? Okay, so that one, I wanted to show you the video and I wanted to do a compare. It's not seen first light yet, for me anyway. So I just want to do a little bit compare of that one. So we have an aperture of 30 mm versus 50. So these are only the differences. Everything else is similar. It's got 150 mm versus the 250. So the very right column is the S30 and the middle column is the S50. So S50 is what we've been talking about. The right column is the S30. And it's got a sensor, which is a little bit different, sure, whatever. Then the working temperature was interesting. It goes down to -10, whereas Seestar, it's 0, but I've taken it out below, well below. Battery, of course, runs out. It's about 6 hours on the battery on an optimal day, but in the winter it's about 4. And I need it for less than 4, so I'm good. 1.5 kilos versus 2.5 kilos. So that's one thing. And then the size is a little bit smaller too. I just noticed that my MMs are missing from my S50, but those are MMs. I wanted to show you the video, the advertising video. By the way, I have no affiliation to this guy, but I just wanted to just show you because I don't have any pictures to show you. I don't know if it's Wi-Fi. Oh, yeah. I'll just click and try. Sorry, sure. Yeah, perfect. We can go. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put it on full screen. Give me 1 second.
Wi-Fi is the greatest.
That's okay. If it doesn't work, it's okay. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, I'm gonna just share the link in the.
Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah,
Yeah, don't worry. We can move on then.
now it decides to work. Yeah, okay.
That's don't worry. That's fine. The surprise I had at the end. Okay, so the surprise I had at the end, I have an S30 to show you.
Oh,
So it's right here. That's the S30. So that's what I wanted to show you. So that was a surprise. I will demo that as well. So yeah, that was a surprise. So that's why I brought this guy up. But yeah, I tried this morning. I was charging it out of the box. I haven't been able because the clouds and stuff, today was a good day. Having said that, what happened was that this morning I found a feature on the S30 that I already liked, which was it was showing me live view, which the S50 doesn't have. So a lot smaller, but we'll see. I can't speak one way or the other about the S30, but we'll see. Okay, so then we can keep going. We'll go to the next one. So before I get into the demo, I just want to give a call out to my center. I've been talking a lot about outreach, but we did start in 2003. So, and we've become part of RASC since 2006. If anybody's interested, I see a couple of RASC-Mississauga members at the back there. Hi, thank you for coming. So if you want to come see us, come to our meetings, I'm happy to share the link. Come on over. You're more than welcome. We would love to have you there. We meet every 2 weeks. So that's really cool. And, in closing, basically the Seestar does meet my requirements. And I call her my dream star. So with that, I've actually named already the S30. It's going to be called the Wee Star because it's going to be. Okay, thank you so much. I'll go to the demo.
You want any questions first?
Before we go into the demo, does anybody have any questions about the S50?
Yeah, well, good point. Thank you. Let's move right on. Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much. I really enjoyed your overview of this remarkable instrument. The question I have for you is, several of your pictures have a lovely framing. Have any of these images that we're seeing here on the screen been cropped, or is this full size from your Seestar 50?
So most of them are full size. Sometimes I do crop them because the field rotation.
Right.
Or there's some things in there that I didn't like streaks and things like that. And sometimes I just wanted to zoom in a little bit on the object, but you're absolutely right to catch on. So I would say the answer is it depends on which picture, but there's a couple of reasons why I would crop them. Partly is for me also to get right closer to the object a little bit more. So I will zoom in to crop them a little bit more too.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions on the Seestar? Yeah, go ahead.
I'll bring you the mic.
I'm a visitor here. I have this S-50 myself. I haven't used it nearly as much as you have for a variety of reasons. But I have a question for you. If you don't know what a particular object in the sky is, and assume it's a star for the environment, And, how do you manage the S50 to track to that? If you can't go to the go-to section of S50?
Yeah, I have come across that. So it has a sky catalog. Actually, that's a really good question. It's one of the things I had to learn how to do. So it has a deep sky catalog built into it. So very much like a Sky Safari or some of the other apps, you can actually click on the target. And then there's a go-to button. Then you can go to it. So you're right. It's possible that it's not in the sky catalog, but you can just physically look at what you want to look at and click the target and hit go to, and it sleuths to that. It will recognize it, but you can actually see what it's resolving. Yeah, so using the iPad, I would in the sky, and we can demo that. So I can show you where that is. So it's got a catalog, and then, you say, okay, this is a star. I want to go to this one. And then you just say go to, and the telescope is slew to that object. Yeah. But it's a good question. That's one of the things I had to learn and figure out.
Any other questions? Okay, if you want to continue.
Okay, perfect. So you're gonna hear a talk. You can also mute it, but you're gonna hear a talk as I power it up too.
Reset that perfect connection. Powering on, ready to connect.
I want to show you.
Well, now you've got one more question.
Oh, perfect. Okay, yeah.
Hi, Swapna. I'm Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi. I just want to know if you have any, knowledgeable about the Pantheon Plus catalog?
No, I'm not. Are you folks? No, I don't know. No.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah. Fanstar, right?
Time scale? Star? No, the time scale.
No.
Oh, sorry, just, we have a recent, Pantheon Plus catalog. It goes, it has to do with the type 1A supernova, where you can have standard candle. We're against the lambda CDM because of the dark energy. It might not be a thing. So I just want to know, because there's new stuff about the Pantheon Plus catalog.
Okay, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure, to be
Okay,
honest
I'm
with you.
sorry.
No, that's good. I'm
I'll
thinking.
look it up.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so what you're seeing here is.
Now we've got one more, sorry.
Oh.
Can we do one more?
Yeah, of course.
Do you know, what the resolution of the images is? Of
Yeah.
Seestar?
Yeah, I think it's 1080. 1080, I have the number.
1920 by
1920, yeah. 1080p, yeah. So that's 1080 by 1920 for both of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And can you access individual, images before the start?
You have access to the raw data, yes. So you have to set the setting though. You have to set the setting in the app to say capture the raw images.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And that's how you get you can then take it into Photoshop. Yeah. Amy? I'm loving the questions going. Yeah, please.
That's the resolution, and the pixel. The size of the pixels
Hang on.
are approximately
We
2
can- we
point.
can-
The size of the pixels are approximately, I believe it's around 2.34 arc seconds. So if you're going to try to understand what the smallest, what the apparent size in space that you'll see is 2.34 arc seconds per pixel. So you won't be able to resolve anything smaller than that. There's some magic you can do, but not absolute.
Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, this is the app. It like I mentioned, as I mentioned, this creates its own Wi-Fi. So what we need to do here, it's already connected, but let me just disconnect for a second. So I
Shut
can-
it down.
So this is how I know what the telescope is doing outside the patio doors, is because I'm listening for it talking. It's probably annoying to my neighbors, but that's okay. Okay, so let me start it up again. So it's turned itself off. So to turn it on, you would just hold it up for a couple of seconds. You hear the beep, you're good to go. And then in the app, you would hit Seestar. And then you've got, see the connect button up there? You hit connect. And oh, I'm seeing somebody else's. I'm seeing Pierre's right now. So it's just waiting to pick up mine, I think. And I'm not sure why it's,
Ready to
oh no, okay, it should come on now. There's the Pierre's is on. So you hear that? If anybody in the front probably is hearing that, it's already getting ready to connect. So, second, I think it. There's mine. So I will hit connect. And that's the other thing, you do need to even close the arm or open the arm, you do need the app open. So you're gonna join the Wi-Fi. And then it is waiting to connect. You see the information coming on at the bottom. It's almost there. And here we are. So it's ready to connect. So I'm just going to show you opening the arm because obviously we're inside. So to open the arm, you're just doing that. Why do you want to open the arm? You want to put your solar filter on, as an example. So that's why you would want to do that up front. You don't have to do that for nighttime. So I'm going to cancel that. I mentioned I was going to show you the catalog. So let me just go to the catalog here. So this is the stargazing, and then you can pick. So it's telling you right at the top what are the most visible objects, like right now in our location, right? And so you can kind of pick. So I like my nebula, so I'm gonna go hit my nebula, or I can even hit M42, why not? So then that's where, okay, I'm seeing the M42, right? I'm not gonna really do anything, I'm gonna go ahead and go gazing.
an object.
And it's gonna do that. Now, of course, I'm not gonna find it because we're inside. But if a tree's in the way, it's going to stall. You'll see that. If there's a cloud in the way, if it can't see it, it's going to stall. So this is what it does outside. Assuming it's clear, assuming it finds it, it just starts taking photographs, the ones we saw. So I'm going to hit cancel for a second. We don't want it to kind of to go too far. And then from there, let me show you another thing. So you had asked a question about if I have, see, this is the problem. See how what I'm doing right now? It's portrait mode. So this is one of the drawbacks. I have to write to the company. They need to make this a little bit more user-friendly. So we've got solar system. So you got all your solar systems here, right? And then you've got your catalog. I'm trying to find it in this very awkward angle. Here we are.
Finding object.
Okay, cancel. Here we are. So this is the catalog. So this is the catalog I was talking about. I think it's almost there. I guess I'm 42. I don't know. You guys can double check, but I think 42 is over there somewhere. Okay, so if I say, you know what, and there was a question in the audience, maybe I want to go see this object. And I'm gonna hit go to.
Finding object.
And then it's just gonna go. I think it was you had a question, right? So that's how you would just do it. So there it goes. So it's just done that. Go ahead.
I recently had a bit of experience with that, and there's a program called Seestar ALP,
Okay.
which is an alternate to select your targeting. So you can like go to this object, look for this long, go to this object, look for this long. It gives you like web interface.
Oh,
But you need a third party, like Raspberry Pi or something.
Oh.
That will connect you. So the alternate controller to the one you would get on like the phone, for example.
okay.
It's a slim down version, but it lets you select your like next target one the other schedule.
Oh, it's so fancy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a GitHub for it. It's easier to find. It's like Seestar ALP.
See, sorry, but you need another hardware for
It
that.
connects to the like the Wi-Fi on the Raspberry Pi.
Okay.
So it uses that connection, like, but you can't have like your phone and backpack at the same time. The controller doesn't allow it to both talk. So you have to set, you have to get everything set up, and then you go to the AFP program and say, this is the target, this is the target. Then just let it do its thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you'll see that because I tried connecting both my telescopes and I couldn't. I had to shut one down to speak to the other. Similar kind of situation, I
Yeah.
think. Oh, that's good to know. No, that's really good. For me, I think this is the way I do it right now. Okay. Let me just go back to one more. I know we're going to be running out of time soon so I just wanted to do one more thing here. I wanted to show you some of these features that are going to be required. So you'll see that it's got the anti-dew, which I use in the summer quite a bit. So all you have to do is toggle it on like that, and your anti-dew is on. Then if you want the image watermark, so in pictures, you'll see at the bottom, it says Seestar S50. I've taken that out actually. That's one of the other things I crop out for presentations. But you can either keep it on or not. I keep it on because then I know which picture it is and when I took it and all the data. Once I've got it all written down, I take that off. And then if you want to calibrate as well, so the firmware updates are usually here. I'm not going to press it, it's going to start calibrating the firmware. And then of course the sound, you can make it lower, low volume, high volume. And then you've got also the device info, etc. But the calibrations also happen from here. Advanced features. It's under advanced features. So you've got calibration here. So if you take it, say, from your home down to a dark sky, you want to make sure you're calibrating, you're balancing your legs before you start. That's your first thing you want to do if you're taking it out of your regular location or you're setting it up for the first time. So those are things I wanted to show, and I know that I want to show you the S30. Any questions on? Yeah, go ahead.
What's the range of your Wi-Fi when you're, sorry,
What's
the range of the Wi-Fi?
There is documentation on the website. For me, it's I'm good. I think, I don't know, 15, 20 feet, 30 feet, I'm good, maybe more. But don't take my word for it. It's on the website under specs. I did see it this morning. I just didn't make a note of it.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm in the house, I'm 20 feet outside the house.
Yeah.
I still get a signal right down the paper.
Through a wall, wow.
Yeah, excellent. That's directly to the Seestar. That's not talking about having the Seestar connected to your home Wi-Fi. Once you have.
Shutting down.
Thanks for the clarification.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Once my iPad is connected to Seestar, that's my house. This is not no longer connected to my house Wi-Fi. So that's one thing. So this is going to shut down. Any other questions? Otherwise, I'm going to show you the S30. Does anybody have an S30? Sorry, did I already ask that question? Yeah, okay. All right, so let me show you. So. This is the size. What I don't know is what it does. So we'll have to see. I don't know yet. Okay, so this is what comes in the box. So it's got, can everybody hear me or? Yeah, okay. So this is what comes in the box. It's got similar things, got a little tripod, etc. So I will assemble in front of you. So this is the whole tripod. It's really, really, really tiny. It's a toy. I don't know how it's going to take photos, but here you go. And then that's it. So it's a little baby sister, I think. So that's a little baby sister. You just screw this thing on. It's like like a camera almost, isn't it? And I have charged it up this morning. So for those, this is it for the Zoom folks. Okay, so similarly, you will just power it on and you will just do what you just did, exactly the same thing. But this is basically it in terms of, but it's exact same workflow as the S50. So it's got the same things. The difference, of course, we'll have to see. We'll see what the picture quality is and what it does. So how I got a hold of this is I actually, because I'm such a fan of the Seestar, I actually sent the company an email saying that I really like it. And I pointed them to my York talk after I had done it. They sent me this as a Christmas present. So that's how I have it. It's a pre-order. no strings attached, of course. I just have to tell them what I think about it because they're looking for some feedback to continue to improve on this. So I would say it's a huge surprise. So that's in full disclosure. That's how I have. So this is a nice Christmas present from Seestar. But yeah, I'll let them know how it goes. I can't speak to anything. I don't know. But that's it for my talk. Sorry. Any last minute questions before I get to Ken or to Pierre?
Do they have pricing set up?
Yeah, it's 500 Canadian dollars. I checked this morning. And I think you were saying you did already ordered
I
it.
ordered one about 2 months ago, it's still waiting for it.
Okay, you can't have mine though. Sorry. So I think from what I saw, the shipment's coming at some point. I don't know, March, I think is what Reddit was saying today. I did do a little bit of research on it. Any other questions? Okay, thank you so much for having me.
Any questions on the Zoom here?
I didn't see any questions.
I'm gonna leave it out for you guys to look at it after.
I had one tip for everybody though.
Oh, yeah, that's Victor online. Where?
My tip was that if you're gonna get a Seestar and you're gonna bring it to an event or something, name your Seestar something other than whatever it comes as. Otherwise, it'll be lost in a sea of Seestars.
Yes, that is a very good tip. I think we experienced that at Starfest. It's a lot of them out there. So thanks Swapna again. That was a wonderful talk, and I think everyone's going to run out now and buy a Seestar, at least the 50.